Well, hello Acoustic Nights at the music place, or the meeting place, I do apologise. Here I am, supposed to be going out on the 12th of March. This is the 10th, it's a pre-record, which is always one of these things, it's a bit scary pre-recording, because you always think, right, if I'm not going to do it perfectly, I'll go back and do it again. But I'm going to just probably send the whole thing to you, as is, warts and all. So I'm hoping there are not too many warts. I've got myself in the Overton Park doing this presentation, if you want to call it that, and I'm at the bandstand, and I've got to be careful because if I sit in the wrong place it looks like I've got a big hat on. What do you think? Well, I'm a long tall Texan, I ride a big fast car. No, okay, maybe not. So I'm going to try and sit to the side and make sure that it doesn't look like a big 10-gallon hat. Okay. Here we go. Thanks to Alan Louise for asking me to do this, and I'm going to bring up the first song. Look, see, I'm trying to be smart, and there's a chorus for you to join in with, and this is a request from Louise, and it's a song that I wrote, probably early 90s, I would think, about some friends that I met in Athens, Ohio. And Alan played very nice fiddle on the original track, which was on my Free Agent album. So we'll give it a go anyway, see how it goes. Ready? Athens, Ohio, in weather cold as ice. You warmed and welcomed me both times, I've been there twice. Well, I stayed with Jed the first time, and a fine man to see. Same goes for Jerry Sullivan, shade US 33. Awesome Ohio, your valley's thick with snow, and it's never gonna cool you down, hearts of Ohio. Hutchison JD is a hell of a man. JD plays music like no one else can. But he took the time to listen, I played another Fool's Cafe. Well, I couldn't lick his boots, but he said he liked it anyway. Hearts of Ohio, your valley's thick with snow, and it's never gonna cool you down, hearts of Ohio. Oh, what's and all, I said. Weatherman's been warning, there's gonna be heaps snow. You're figuring on leaving, now it's time to go. So long Appalachians before the blizzard starts, and I leave behind in bitter cold, warm hearts. Hearts of Ohio, your valley's thick with snow, and it's never gonna cool you down, hearts of Ohio. Hearts of Ohio, your valley's thick with snow, and it's never gonna cool you down, hearts of something like that. Anyway, when I had Alan, wait a minute, we better give myself a wee bit of applause if you don't mind. It's amazing, isn't it? Amazing. So there we go. Louise, I hope that was okay for you. I'm always dodgy with that wee bit, you know, that wee bit. I can never do it. So, hey! Yeah, there we go. I should really go in and edit that, but I'm not going to. I'm just not going to. Warts and all. Right, what's the next song? Let's get that one off. The next one is, well, yeah, this is one called Prince of the Pylons, and the last song mentioned snow, so does this one. The last one is a warning about getting out of snow. Sometimes the fella that's in this song gets a phone call because there's lots of snow and the big power lines have come down. He's the sort of Wichita lineman of Norway. His name is Binna. He's one of the Flekkefjord Sangforening, the choir that I sing with up in Norway, and this is a song that I wrote for him. What way am I moving? That way? I'll try to keep that hat off me. So this is for Binna, and yeah, give it a go. It's Call Out the Prince of the Pylons, Driving Snow in the Dead. It mentions here is sky bike with its wheels of fire. That's because he goes up on the high power lines and he's got this thing they call a bicycle. And I thought it was a nice vision of the man in high vis up there with his wheels of fire, and it being the high power. I hope it has told me stories of falling off and breaking his legs and all that kind of stuff. He's a lovely wee fella. He is a lovely wee fella. Anyway, I've got a cup of tea with me. So here we go. Oh, I've swallowed a bubble of air. The verse of this is all in E minor, single chord. How cheeky. Who's gonna ride in your behalf the high wire? Bennett's gonna ride the sky back with his wheels of fire. Who's gonna ride in your behalf the high wire? Bennett's gonna ride the sky back with his wheels of fire. Blind pan rings throughout this town, can see no light for miles around. Darkness feel when the power goes down, senses heightened to every sound. Around every corner and enemy, I can feel them creeping up on me. This is not where I want to be. Emergency, emergency, call out the prince of the pilers, driving slow in the dead of the night. Call out our high-vis hero, he got the power to make it alright. Who's gonna ride in your behalf the high wire? Bennett's gonna ride the sky back with his wheels of fire. Who's gonna ride in your behalf the high wire? Bennett's gonna ride the sky back with his wheels of fire. There's so much mist when the power is gone. Flick my switch and it won't come on. My turntable won't go round. All my speakers make no sound. The remote control for this or that can charge my phone. The battery's flat. Shiver, shiver, easy. Central heating gives no heat. Call out the prince of the pilers, driving slow in the dead of the night. Call out our high-vis hero, he got the power to make it alright. Out this town, I can see no light for miles around. Darkness fearing the power goes down, senses heightened to every sound. Round every corner and enemy, I can feel them creeping up on me. This is not where I want to be. Emergency, emergency, call out the prince of the pilers, driving slow in the dead of the night. Call out our high-vis hero, he got the power to make it all. Who's to ride in your behalf the high wire? Bennett's gonna ride the sky back with his wheels of fire. Who's gonna ride in your behalf the high wire? Bennett's gonna ride the sky back with his wheels of fire. Who's gonna ride in your behalf the high wire? Bennett's gonna ride the sky back with his wheels of fire. Ooh. Oh, wait a minute, applause. Since you're not, I don't know if you are clapping out there. But here we go. Here we go. In the absence of the real audience, I've got to do that. It makes me feel better. Okay. Actually, I could hardly hear it. It's happening in the wee headphones at the side there. See how strong my cup of tea is, or cold it is. Hang on. I hope you're all doing okay, all getting your vaccines and all the rest of it. I'll just quickly mention that this is a tip jar thing. It mentions up there. Tip jar, it would be awfully handy because it has been these things, and it was Louise's idea that ever even started these, so thank you for the idea, Louise. It has got me through. I don't know what I'd have done without. So either to paypal.me/Ian Bruce, or my bank account if you want to go directly in there, because I can give it out because you can't take anything out, thank goodness. But if you want to put anything in, it's sort code 87 37 10 060 38772, and that way I don't pay 10% to PayPal. Okay, that'd be very kind of you. Not looking for much at all, but I've got car insurance to pay this month and it's serious. Anyway, here's another request for Louise. I'll just take Prince of the Pylons off, hang on a second, and we'll go to this one, which is Jock of Hazeldean. written by Sir Walter Scott. And I always thought, you know, it's really weird to have somebody with a title like that, writing books and poetry and songs and stuff like that. Then I realised, of course, it's probably because he wrote songs and books and poetry that he got his title, like Sir Elton John or something like that. So it's not like it came from some other grandeur. It's probably just exactly for being really clever with words. I'm waiting on my knighthood. Might have to wait a wee while. I'm more like a sir as in C-U-R. Oh. Why weep ye by the tide, lady? Why weep ye by the tide? I'll watch ye to my youngest son, and ye shall be his bride, and ye shall be his bride, lady. Say comely to be seen, but I she looked, the tears do fall for Jocko Hazeldean. No chain, no gown, ye shall not lack, nor braid to bind your hair, nor metal hound, nor managed hawk, nor palfrey fresh and fair. And ye, the foremost of them all, shall ride a forest queen, but I shall look, the tears do fall with Jock o' Hazeldean. Do let this wealth of grief be done, and dry your cheeks a pale. Young Frank is chief o' Warrington, and Lord o' Langley Dale. His step is first in peaceful war, his sword in battle keen. But I, she looked, the tears do fall for Jock o' Hazeldean. Kirk was dead at morning tide, and the tapers glimmered fair. The priest and bridegroom waved the bride, and dame and knight were there. They searched her babe by bower and all, the lady was not seen. She's on the border and the wall with Jock o' Hazeldean. She's on the border and the wall with Jock o' Hazeldean. it's such a lovely song. That's such a lovely song. Wait a minute, get some applause there. Thank you very much. Or how about a... Yeah, every now and then we can maybe have one of them instead of claps. How about that? Okay, Jockey Hazeldean is off the screen. That rhymed. Do you like that? It's good, it's good, it's good. And we're going into this one. This is a song of mine again. This is going back to... Oh, it was on my second album, which was called Bloodwinds Dream. And it came out in, I think it was 89 or 90 or something like that. So... talking a wee bit back, and I have been plagued all my life with palpitations, and it led me to believe, especially after one doctor saying that I'd given myself cardiac strain after playing badminton, it led me to believing I had a bad heart, and therefore it's kind of stayed with me all my life and been rather annoying, and it's curtailed a lot of my pleasures, so I wrote this song as a wee... I wish somebody had been able to sing this to me when I was feeling ill, particularly, because I don't mind admitting these days I had a nervous breakdown when I was in my mid-20s. It was awful. Awful. So this was the song, and this only just this year, in amongst all this, I was very grateful to get an operation, just when we were talking about people not getting care in the health service. Well done, health service. You deserve more than clap. Let's see how it goes for your pay deal. It's a bit awkward now with money and all the rest of it, but you did get your 500 quid, and I hope you get many more of those. Yeah, this is... I got a thing called heart ablation this year, which apparently stops my heart doing that, and so far that's exactly right, to get the ectopic beats, but it doesn't turn into palpitations, so hopefully I can start to get a wee bit more faith in it. Anyway, here's a song called Black Fog, which... I've been told by friends, one friend in particular, who carried a cassette tape of this song around in her handbag because sometimes she needed to listen to it. I felt proud of that. The doctor must think it's out of his hands. Is that why I'm here? He said there's nothing wrong with me. Well, there is, you see. I'm longing to travel, frightened to fly. I'm too far from hell when I'm up in the sky. I cower from ambition, my yearning to roam. I feel a little safer when I'm locked in my home. And I'm frightened of failure, I'm scared of success. I'm somewhere in the middle and my mind is a mess. Sometimes I get dizzy, I'm gonna fall off on my feet. Sometimes I'm so scared I'm gonna die in the street. Don't sit alone in black fog, seek the sunshine is waiting for you. Relax, forget, it's so easy to say no. But you won't always be feeling this way. Have faith in yourself. You're being overwhelmed by your phobias. You have a fear of the fear. You're not going mad. You're not physically ill, and you're not going to die. We'll wean you off pills, and we'll lift that fog so you clearly see. Have faith in yourself and have trust in me. And don't sit alone in black fog, see the sunshine is waiting for you. wee clap for me here, please. Oh no, well, how about a... That's one of those. Yeah, that song, wrote it entirely for me and anybody else that needs a wee speaking to when they're not feeling so good. And at the moment, of course, I sing it for the world because it's been so closed up and locked down that it needs to get its confidence back and get on with it, doesn't it? So let's hope that that'll happen soon. Now, that's a song for the world just now. Black Fog, have faith in yourself. There you go. And I suppose for anybody, because I was out doing the blood bikes. That's a car. Blood bikes on Monday again, which is a thing we do. It's a voluntary service going from hospital to hospital, carrying blood samples and anything that they want us to move for them, and we do it free. And I felt a wee bit strange being out of the house. I've been in the house and garden for over a year, just like the rest of us, really, or many of us anyway. So there we go. I was a wee bit anxious about being out, but there we are. Right, okay, keeping our dreams alive. This is a song I wrote with Victor Besh, who it's not been a great year at all, 2020. So Victor died sadly in June, the day before his birthday. He would have been 60 on his birthday, and he died just the day before it. But we wrote this song, which we put on an album in 2016. And it's a song of love. It doesn't sound like it from the first line. It sounds like it's going to be a bit naughty, but it's a genuine song of love. I won't call it a love song, it's a song of love. I think there's a difference, isn't there? And I wrote it because I don't think we tell our partners, etc., that we love them often enough. So I wrote this, and afterwards Tony left me. Well, there you go. Well, I don't want to lie beside you anymore. Beside you, I don't want to lie. And I don't want to lie beside you anymore. Lie, 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 lie. 'Cause I wanna lie with you. I wanna lie with you. With you, I want to lie. We've been together such a long time. In my mind, I am keeping our dreams alive. We've got 3 verses, another 2 of them, and it's exactly the same song, same verse, except 1 word difference. This is live. And I don't want to live beside you anymore. Beside you, I don't want to live. I don't want to live beside you anymore. Lie, 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 lie. 'Cause I wanna live with you. I wanna live with you. With you, I want to live. Been together such a long time. In my mind, I am keeping our dreams alive. Love. And I don't want to love beside you anymore. Beside you, I don't want to love. And I don't want to love beside you anymore. Lie, 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 lie. 'Cause I wanna love with you. I wanna love with you. With you, I want to love. Been together such a long time. In my mind, I am keeping our dreams alive. Lie with me, live with me, love with me, love me. Been together such a long time. the screen. Lie with me, live with me, love with me, love me. Been together such a long time. In my mind I am keeping our dreams alive. Here we go. Oh, what we'll have this time, I think we'll have a party noisemaker. There we go. Hey, happy customers. I need loads of them, don't I? Yeah, here we go. So, right, let's take Keeping Our Dreams Alive off the screen. It's going rather well, don't you think? A few mistakes, but I don't care. As long as you don't. That's the important thing. Right, Ode to an Old Friend. This is a song that Ian Walker and I wrote together. Oh, capo in the same place. That's handy. All about folk clubs. I've always loved singing in folk clubs. I think even if I'd had the opportunity to do great big stadia, etc., I think I'd always literally miss the folk clubs. There's something lovely about them. And sometimes you expect to see a face there, and it's not there anymore. It's either moved off to somewhere else, or it's passed on and gone up to the big folk club in the sky. And Ian wanted to write something about the space that we make when we go. And for some reason, it just came to me and said, "Don't worry, Ian, the space is still there, but the chairs just shuffle around." So here's a song called Ode to an Old Friend, and again, the chorus is up there, so please sing along. Usual suspects gather round for another night of song. Each take their turn to take their... Oh, well, wait a minute, that's not right. I'll maybe edit that out. Usual suspects gather round for another night of song. Each take their turn to do their turn, and the harmonies are strong. But somebody is missing, of that we're well aware. It's so hard to raise your mind from an old friend's empty chair. For years to come we'll hear your voice when your turn comes around, but no one ever takes your space. The chairs just shuffle around. The chairs just shuffle around. As usual, the voice subsides and Lucy lifts the bow. From this space a different sound, one we're glad to know. Sometimes it's the rhythm, sometimes it's the rhyme. But now a bunch of old Scots airs replace a bunch of time. For years to come we'll hear your voice when your turn comes around. For no one ever takes your space. The chairs just shuffle around. The chairs just shuffle around. And as we ring the changes, the voices come and go. We all ride this carousel, round and round and around we go. The usual suspects gather round for another night of song. Each take their turn to do their turn, somebody is missing, that we're well aware. It's so hard to raise your mind from an old friend's empty chair. For years to come we'll hear your voice when your turn comes around, but no one ever takes your space, the chairs just shuffle around. For years to come we'll hear your voice when your turn comes around, but no one ever takes your space, the chairs just shuffle around, the chairs just shuffle around, the chairs just shuffle around. There we go. I will dedicate that to my old friend Hugh Miller, who used to live in Richmond Drive, who, when I played live at the Acoustic Nights Music Club, was in the audience, but sadly he passed away. Must have been last year. So Hugh is a great fella. I used to share cars and going to work to Yarra Shipbuilders a few years back now. But oh God, it's so sad when we lose our friends, isn't it? Anyway, right. Well, this is my last song. Thanks, everybody. Just a quick reminder, if you don't mind, we do these things for fun, but we do it to try and survive. Musicians have got really not a lot coming in at all at the moment, like a lot of us, so please, if you can't afford it, don't do it. But it's paypal.me/Ian Bruce, or if you want to pay direct to the bank, which is a backs of 87, not 87,000, no. Sort code 873710 or 060387772. Be most appreciated. Car insurance is the big one this month. Got to try and find 470 quid for my car insurance, and that's only cheaper because I'm not out playing. So there we go. Anyway, yeah, last song, and I've got a new album coming out. It's coming out in May on Green Tracks, and it's been a labour of love, a lot of work. My dad was the pipe major for the London Scottish Regiment back in the Second World War, actually, yeah. So, and I brought out an album called Hod and Grey in 1998. Hod and Grey being the military colours, or colour. It's a very plain sort of heathery kind of purpley colour. Quite impressive when you see it, but it's quite a strange look. Anyway, it's been quite a strange thing for me doing this project, because Dad died when I was 19, and so I never really got to know much about the London Scottish or what they looked like. And now, because I did this Hod and Grey album, it got into the hands of the London Scottish, as far as I know, 18 years later. And some of the soldiers that were out in Afghanistan knew this album and were playing it at night. Certainly one guy was, and he was playing it to comfort himself at night. And I can imagine out in Afghanistan you do need something very good to do that, so I'm very privileged to know that. And Major Rob Pitt was let hear the album, and he got in touch with me, got me to come down to the London Scottish headquarters in London, do a gig. And he said, look, we've got a book called Grey Kilts that nobody can remember the tunes of the songs anymore. It was brought out in 1918. Would you mind writing some new tunes for them? I said, yeah. So I took about 11 or 12 of the songs and wrote new tunes for them, and that's what this album is. And the book, Grey Kilts, they've only got 3 copies. As I said, they brought out in 1918, or published in 1918, and my dad was born in 1909, so there is a small chance that my dad's fingerprints are actually on that cover. And now I've seen the pipe band marching in the drill hall with the Hod and Grey colours, so I feel really privileged, and this whole project has brought me closer to my dad, whom I really didn't know terribly well. So hi Dad, and I really am very pleased with the tunes I've put to these songs. So if I was getting pushed from above, then thanks Dad. If not, then I hope you're proud of what's coming out in May. And I'll see you all quite soon, I hope. Keep getting the vaccinations, keep getting better. The vaccination, fortunately, is slowing down the transmission. Fantastic. It's doing better than they ever dreamed. So anyway, we'll finish with this, and we'll just say cheerio at the end, and there we go. Oh, anything you want to know, there's ianbruce.org. I still have to update my website. To be honest, it's a couple of years out of date. I need to do that. Have started, not finished. And if you want to get in touch with me, ianbruce3@aol.com, because I do need to get some gigs under my belt for when it all starts up again. And if you're interested, please get in touch. Thanks again, Alan Lees and everybody else that's involved with this. And here is Young Territorial. And it's got young, 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 young. So young, 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 young Territorial. Young, 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 young Territorial, soldier of the King. All right. By the way, that's another thing, because the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II was in 1952, I do believe, which was honestly before I was born. I just assumed the Queen's always been there, but of course when my dad and mum were around, it was the King that they were serving. It's the funny wee different feelings, isn't it? Things you take for granted. There wasn't always a Queen Elizabeth II. When the young Territorial goes down to the plain, he's a long way to march from his camp to the train, and he wonders if ever he will reach his home again. This is work, says the young Territorial, and he sees all around him the tents and the sky, and the down-started oar with old tubular line that were made by the Britain in ages gone by. For he was the first Territorial. Young, young, young Territorial. Young, 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 young Territorial, soldier of the King. On Salisbury Plain there is work to be done, but he cares not for rain and he cares not for sun, and he looks on this fortnight as ripping good fun. He's the right sort of young Territorial. If the day has been stiff and the sun hot and bright, what matters as long as his feet are all right, and he steps with a swing when the camp comes in sight, with the spring of a young Territorial. Come on. Young, 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 young Territorial. Young, young, young Territorial, soldier of the King. When parade is dismissed and dinner time is near, at the sound of the bugle he raises a cheer, 'cause he's been having visions of beef and a beer, and they're good for the young Territorial. If he's helping the cooks, if fatigue comes his way, he'll be black as a sweep, let him scrum how he may, and he wonders whatever his best girl would say at the sight of a young Territorial. Come on. Young, young, young Territorial. There we go. Thanks very much, everybody, for listening. I'm just going to go back in and do a wee edit because little do you know that I sang verse 3 and 4 of Jockey Hazeldean the wrong way around. So I'm going to go in and just put that the right way around with a wee edit. Otherwise, it's going out as is, and I hope that's okay for you. Remember, tip jar if you don't mind, only if you can afford it, and that would be very helpful. Okay, thanks everybody, and stay well. And Louise and Alan, that the art class group you've got online is phenomenal. You're such clever people. It's an absolute pleasure. Cheers. Thanks.